everybody, and welcome to this masterclass, Being an Único Teacher. I am Carolina Rodríguez Buitrago, and I am a professor at Institución Universitaria Colomboamericana Única. I also work at the Specialist program in Única. Today, I'm really happy to share with you these words about being an Único teacher in the hope to have you in our Specialist program, maybe next semester or maybe later. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a language teacher educator. I graduated from Universidad Pedagógica Nacional, and I also have a master's degree in educational technology and TESOL from the University of Manchester. Recently, I finished another master's degree on positive education from Universidad Tec Milenio in Mexico. Now, I'm very happy to share with you some ideas about technology, the pandemic, and your professional development. This is very important, because you as an educator, you have shown all the great things you're capable of doing with this pandemic that we are living right now. What did the pandemic do for you? For me, it taught me a lot, not only about me as a mom and as a person, but also as a teacher. I learned that I can learn many things. I learned that I can be flexible and that I can adapt my teaching methodologies to the needs of my students and to the needs of those around me. What did it do for you? I want you to reflect about that right now. Think about it. Think about what the pandemic do for you. At Única, we'd like to call it Mrs. Vice President COVID-19. Why? Because COVID-19 pushed us all to make changes in our classrooms in a rapid velocity. We never imagined we will have to do this, and we did it in the blink of an eye, right? I want to invite you to reflect and to think if a pandemic, something like that, something so invasive and so unexpected, did something so great for us in our professional development. I want you to reflect on what our professional specialist program can do for you and your teaching abilities. Okay, so now that we have reflected about what the pandemic did for us, why don't we think about some of the things we learned and how we can take them to the new normal after all of this is over? There are many great things that we can adapt into our teaching. We learned that. We learned the hard way that pedagogical innovation is moved by technology. Yes, that's something we lived. And we also lived that there were a lot of differences between educators in different parts of the country. It wasn't the same situation for you as it was maybe for your neighbor or the teacher in Cerete or a teacher in La Guajira. So now that we know all the challenges that there are, we can continue our professional development. One of those ways is to adopt a way to learn and to teach with technology. I have a proposal for you. These are called the ISTE standards. The ISTE is the International Society for Technology in Education. They have standards for administrators and schools, for teachers, and for students. But if we as teachers want to empower our students and we want to give them all of those great elements, not only technological, but also high order thinking skills, we want them to think about different problems. We want them to become problem solvers, collaborators, communicators. We ourselves have to develop our own competencies and our own abilities. So the ISTE standards present to us 7 different standards, 7 different ideas for teachers to be better teachers, to be better educators. The learner is that teacher who is not scared of learning. We recognize that we have difficulties and we actually need to grow as professionals, right? So a learner doesn't have any problem joining courses, registering to specialist programs, and learning new techniques and pedagogical innovation to bring into their classroom. Another standard is the leader. Once you become a learner and you're learning all these great methodologies, technologies, and different techniques to apply into your classroom, it is a commitment for you to become a leader. In our specialist program in Bilingual Education, we educate leaders of institutions who are capable of putting in place different projects in their schools, in their areas of work, in order to make better enhancements and improvements in the classroom. Then the third standard for ISTE is to become a citizen, a global citizen, a digital citizen. Nowadays, we have difficulties that didn't exist before. As educators, we are facing amazing challenges with our students. Yeah, we constantly say that students are better at using technology than we are, and etc., but they definitely need some support from the adults next to them. That's us. And for that, we need to understand things like cyberbullying. We need to understand things like digital harassment, like, for example, online privacy or cybersecurity. We need to understand all of these things. So that is what the citizenship, our digital citizen standard refers to. Okay, so then comes the collaborator. There cannot be, all of this learning cannot happen in isolation. We cannot continue doing this in silos. It is very important for educators to collaborate with each other. This is crucial, but also with families. The pandemic taught us something important about collaboration between the school and the home. We recognize that actually without parental support is really difficult to do our job. And we lived it through 2020, 2021. So the collaborator builds all these bridges between the school and the students with the help of technology. You are going to learn a lot about these things in our specialist program. So one more, which is not easy at all, but you are great at it and you can learn a lot of tips with us, is the designer role. So what is the designer standard? Teachers are designers, not assigners. So yes, internet is flooded with amazing resources, but we cannot just give our students a bunch of links. It is important for us to know how to choose, what to give, how to do it. And our students will benefit more when it is us, the ones designing these experiences. We have, for example, different models in our specialist program. We work with models like backward design or UDL. You're going to learn all of these things in order to craft amazing learning experiences for students, including all of them. Okay, so another standard is something we've been hearing for years, the facilitator. So have you heard about flipped learning? Have you heard about facilitating learning or constructivism? Well, here it is. Facilitating talks about the teacher becoming a facilitator of learning experiences, more than just, the preacher, more than just the sage on the stage. We are the guide on the side. We are the ones who are there to facilitate learning for our students, to create a fertile space, Marshall, for them to grow. And then, they will do all the work. That is student-centered learning. That's something that we all have dreamed of for years. And then there is one more role that is brought to us thanks to all these great technologies that we have, and it's the role of the analyst. So the teachers use this information or this data that is given in the different websites. For example, if you use Edpuzzle to enhance your videos, Edpuzzle is going to give you a lot of information about student variability, about student time on platform, about the different questions and problems that they had. So an analyst learns to use all of this data into improving and enhancing instruction. So if you develop these 7 standards for ISTE, you are definitely going to become a more empowering teacher for your students. I invite you to learn about them. There are certifications, etc. But of course, in our specialist program, we believe in teachers that are empowering and that can help students make a difference. Something I want to give you today is another phrase. Familiarity can be a slow death. Growth is not optional if you want your desires. Change is not optional if you want your dreams. Jacqueline Justin. So the pandemic put us in a position where we had no other chance but to change. You teachers were heroes. You did an amazing job balancing your own house, your own children learning online, and your teaching. You faced the challenge. You were the true heroes. I leave you another phrase here. Real heroes don't wear capes, they teach. So In the blink of an eye, teachers had to balance everything they did, everything they already did in the face-to-face classroom with the new technologies presented ahead. And you did very well. Also, you learned to use different technologies, different websites, different tools like this. And so I want to invite you to think and reflect if you did all of that from one day to another with a lot of pressure and with a lot of fear, because that was something we were all experiencing throughout the pandemic. So if you did it with fear, can you imagine what you would do in a program that is spaced for you, that has discussion times, that has amazing spaces for growth and for learning? I just want to give you that thought. So, important thing, my dear teachers, in order to develop these ideas of the ISTE standards is to think and develop a growth mindset. In 2006, Carol Dweck, a professor and psychologist at Stanford, developed a theory about the growth mindset. So what is the growth mindset? We have, she says, there are two types of mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset thinks that intelligence is fixed. You either are or aren't intelligent. You either are or aren't capable of change. People with the growth mindset understand that growth is just part of life, that we are all here to learn, and that when we change and we grow from our mistakes, we become better. And so that's the invitation that we have for you. Become better, make mistakes, get out of your comfort zone. That is the important thing when developing a growth mindset. Also, it is important when we think about professional development to think about self-actualization. Yeah, as teachers, we will never stop learning. And that's something that we teach our students. We are lifelong learners. Why are we lifelong learners? Because teaching methodologies change, because technology advances, and because the learners that we have are definitely not the same that we had 20 years ago. You know that your learners are not the same as you were as a learner 20 years ago. So everything evolves. Teaching also has to evolve. And our professional development is that commitment with ourselves and with the people that we serve, with those students who are part of our life because they become our children, right? And those people who we are committed to helping grow. So self-actualization, as Maslow proposes, is the last level or the last part of a pyramid of needs. And we need to self-actualize. We need to learn new things. It's a human need. So we want to invite you to our specialist program where you are going to be with amazing educators. You're going to learn things about, for example, neuroscience, innovative teaching methodologies. You're going to apply research into your own classroom. It is a very important opportunity for you as an educator to live again the shoes of a student, to be there experiencing new technologies, experiencing new teaching methodologies, and through this experiential learning moment, you can see what is that you want to do in your own classrooms right there in your school. So another thing is pedagogical innovation doesn't stop. We have seen the rapid change of pedagogy in the last 20 years. When we were in college, I don't know how many years ago you were in college, but when I was in college, we were using acetato projectors, like we were still projecting on transparencies. And look at us today. Look at us today. I'm talking to you via computer. I'm talking to you via masterclass because I can't do that right now because of all the technologies that we have. But we cannot keep the same mindset. We have to know and to have the right mindset in order to adapt our pedagogy to all the technology that we have. So pedagogical innovation is about putting pedagogy on the driver's seat and putting technology on the passenger seat. Technology is just a facilitator for all of the things that we can do, but we need to have clear pedagogical objectives in order to get there, in order to achieve that goal of innovating in our classroom. And last but not least, pedagogical development is full of reflective teaching. Reflective teaching practices are absolutely necessary for 21st century educators. Yeah, we know it's 21 years into the 21st century, and we're still talking about these amazing abilities we need to have. But how do we develop them? We become reflective teachers. And that's one of our key signatures in our specialist program. You are going to be reflecting on your own practice, on your own school, on your own methodologies all the time. You're going to be reflecting for yourself, for your classmates, sharing these reflections. I'm sure you want to have this great opportunity because sometimes in our institutions, we don't find this kind of tribe. We don't find this kind of community or camaraderie because everybody is just so busy doing everyday tasks that we don't sit down and discuss. We don't sit down and talk and reflect about what worked, what didn't, how did it go. We just have to use and start continue using everything new every day. So in these spaces, you are going to be able to discuss with peers, to get really familiar with all these new pedagogies by discussing, by talking, by growing together and constructing collectively with the people studying with you. Okay, so I want to give you another sentence, another phrase, just for you to take with you. The limits of my language are the limits for my world. So this is something connected to the bilingualism part of our program. You know English, but you also know that teaching to children is going to probably pay a toll on your language ability. So this is another opportunity. In these conversations that I'm talking about, in these pedagogical conversations, these amazing moments of construction, you are going to be practicing your language. You're going to be enhancing your language, making your language suitable for academic contexts. And later, this is going to prepare you for presenting at international conferences, for helping you expand and talk about what you do every day in the classroom. It is not fair for teachers who do all this amazing work to just remain silent and to remain hidden. Yeah, in our society, we are one of the most important professions, and yet we are not recognized as such because we rarely have the time and the moment to talk about it. So this is a great opportunity for you to do so. So are you ready to be an Único teacher? So what is an Único teacher? Única is a place of transformation. So we, Único teachers, we transform realities. We transform our society through education. That is our main purpose. And this is what I'm inviting you to become. I'm inviting you to come and learn all about these amazing pedagogical innovations, digital transformation, educational technology, but also to reflect about your role in society and how you, every day, by what you do in your classroom, be it a social studies classroom, a science classroom, a math classroom, a language classroom, what you're doing to transform the reality of our society by transforming those children that are there with you. So, are you ready to change your world and those of your students? Well, we can wait for you to come to us so that we can enhance these discussions, we can have these discussions, we can talk about the things that bother you, the things that worry you about your students, those issues in language learning that you want to solve. So come to us, we're waiting for you. And I'll be there teaching the research courses, so I can wait to see you. Okay, so I invite you to become an Único teacher. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the program.